afternoon, everyone. My name is Tony Williams. I'm the Chairman and CEO of Major Precious Metals, and I'd like to introduce you to our Skaergaard Palladium and Gold deposit, which is located in the central portion of the East Coast of Greenland, some 450 kilometers west of Iceland. We're listed on the Tier 1 NEO exchange in Canada with a current market capitalization of around 65 million Canadian dollars. Okay, regarding geology, Skaergaard intrusions, a classic example of a layered mafic igneous complex similar to the Bushveld complex in South Africa. Now, due to the retreat of the coastal ice over the last 2 decades, we have nearly 100% surface exposure over an area of some 70 square kilometers. Now, although this deposit was discovered in 1930, the mineralization was only identified in the late 1980s. And since then, several drilling campaigns have confirmed a 45-meter strata-bound mineralized zone within the upper portion of the deposit. And this can be traced not only in outcrop, but also as underground across over 2/3 of the intrusion so far. Within these zones of mineralization are specific layers rich in palladium and gold, and intermediate layers of iron, titanium, and oxide mineralization interspersed between the precious metals horizons. We acquired this project in November 2020 after it had been really dormant as a development project for over a decade. We acquired it from an Australian company called Platina Resources. Post-acquisition, we initiated an independent sampling program of all the historical exploration, remodeled the deposit with SLR, independent consultants, using modern geological software and updated photostat topography now that the ice has retreated so much. And this data confirmed that Skaergaard was indeed a project of global significance, containing a large resource of palladium, platinum, and gold. We believe it's important to really frame the magnitude of this opportunity at Skaergaard. As this slide shows, we already have 4 million ounces of palladium and 1 million ounces of gold outlined as indicated resources. But where it gets really interesting is when you look at the inferred category with geology that's very well known and very well structured. 10 million ounces of palladium, close to 4 million ounces of gold in the inferred category. All independently assessed and modeled and supported by a 120-page National Instrument 43-101 report, which is available on our website and was filed last May on CIDAR. Now, this equates to an overall resource of close to 20 million palladium equivalent ounces already, so truly a resource of global significance, and perhaps more importantly, outside the traditional PGE producing areas of Russia and South Africa, and it's located in a safe, mining-friendly jurisdiction and with mineralization, or known mineralization, open in all directions. And we'll talk a little bit about Greenland in a moment. As has been announced recently and articulated on the website, we've completed an 8,000 meter plus diamond drilling program this summer, which was focused on upgrading and expanding the existing resources, obviously verifying the historical exploration and looking at the potential for vanadium, titanium in these intermediate horizons, as well as other secondary elements. We've also started to investigate the open pit potential in the northern part of the deposit, where lateral erosion has exposed the outcrop, and that's been very poorly drilled up to now. And we've managed to drill it this summer, and we eagerly await results. For all these details and more, I would refer the investors to the company website at www.majorprecious.com and to the 43-101 report, which is available on the website and is filed on CIDAR. We now have over 11,000 new core and channel samples currently en route and a secure chain of custody to the ALS Global Lab in Ireland for assay. Results will be announced once the laboratory confirms the exact timing. And these results from this summer's drilling and parallel studies on mining and metallurgy will form the basis for a preliminary economic analysis, which we still hope will be available by the end of Q1 2022. And this, as many of you will know, will obviously determine the next steps needed to go forward with a PFS, provisional feasibility study, to demonstrate the full potential for the economic extraction of these substantial resources at Skaergaard. We own 100% of this resource with no encumbrances and only a 2.5% royalty to the Greenland government. Metal prices for the main precious metal content are still higher than our base case modeling, which was done at just over 1,700 per ounce for palladium and 1,800 for gold. And we have the potential to add further valuable byproducts to enhance rock value. The Greenland mineral sector is gaining increasing geopolitical importance, and the new government has reaffirmed its support for all sustainable mining projects, only excluding uranium mining. And several projects are in production and advancing development, and the Fraser Institute annual survey, which is still very well regarded in the investment community, has ranked Greenland number 2 in Europe after Finland and above Mexico, Norway, and the Northwest Territories. And this importance for critical metals in Greenland is starting to be recognized by both US and European agencies, such as EXIM and European Raw Materials Alliance. And this commitment to debt finance is on very favorable terms, I might add, at the feasibility stage, is helpful stepping stone along the mine development cycle for all developers, including our company, as we progress. Skaergaard is remote and it is rugged, but in mining terms, it's generally very accessible. There's a 600-meter field airstrip next to an exploration camp about 12 kilometers away from site with helicopter support. And the summer program was conducted from a ship anchored in the fjord, if you can just see beyond that. And this picture was taken in mid-September, and you can see the fjord is starting to ice up a little, but it's still relatively ice-free. This was a very economic and environmentally friendly way to conduct the program. So although it's remote and although it's rugged, it's relatively accessible. Mining would be conducted on a FIFO basis, fly in, fly out, there are many examples, as you all know, worldwide of cold, remote locations being mined on this rotation basis. There is a summer window of about 4 months from late May, early June to late September, early October, but mining would be year-round. Just show you a few shots here. This is the glacier retreating. The glacier has retreated massively over the last 2 decades, thus exposing the favorable geology and allowing us to evaluate the deposit. This year we had 4 drilling rigs capable of drilling up to 1,000 meters in depth, core drilling. And for mobilization, we've reached an agreement with the drilling company and with the government to allow us to keep those rigs on site. So for next summer's program, mobilization will go forward a lot more quickly. This is some of the intermediate mineralization and just showing the zones of high-grade palladium and platinum mineralization. A lot more of these pictures on our revamped website, which will be available in the next few days. And we have, as I said, 11,000 new samples on their way to Ireland. I won't talk too much about demand for palladium, just to say that despite the general view there will be EV penetration in the automobile market, palladium is still set fair for demand basis over the next couple of decades. It's used in hybrids, it's used in the hydrogen economy, in catalytic converters, proton exchange membranes, etc., etc. Like with everyone, we have a strong focus on ESG, working with SLR. In terms of valuation, I think we're well placed for a re-rating as we progress along the mine development cycle. And the analyst here concludes that Skaergaard is one of the largest PGM resources in the world, and it's trading at a fraction of the market cap value. And our job now in coming to projects like places like this and for other conferences around the world is to start to articulate the potential that we have. We think the investment proposition speaks for itself. It's a unique opportunity. In terms of value, it's less than $5 an ounce in the ground of contained precious metal mineralization, and it's open in all directions. We have 11,000 new samples to assay in the coming months. We own 100% of this palladium-rich resource, and we have a lot of gold too, and a deposit that potentially contains other recoverable critical metals. And it's in Greenland, a safe, mining-friendly jurisdiction, not Russia or South Africa. And we do expect to be re-rated as we progress next year. To conclude, it's not unusual for these large layered intrusions to contain many deposits, and over 30 mines have been developed since the discovery of the Bushveld complex in 1924. Thank you.